having me be part of your virtual event this year. It's been a tough year for Pole Studios. It's been a very tough year for the insurance world, insuring Pole Studios. So my name's Tom Wojciechowski, and I'm with Francis L. Dean and Associates, and we are a fully licensed in all 50 states insurance underwriter. And we're unique in the fact that we specialize in sports and fitness insurance. This is our 31st year of business. I've been with the company 23 of those 31 years and have kind of focused on the fitness side of our business. First, I want to give you my contact info. I did put it in the chat, but let me just give it to you so that you have it. Email address is very simple, tom@fdean.com. My direct phone number, area code 773-972-1235. If you have to contact me at all about any insurance-related questions or interested in our products, I would love to help you. So please keep that contact info. Again, it's in the discussion or the chat room too. So today what I would like to do is I'm not going to take up a ton of your time. We'll let you get to the more exciting parts of the convention. Insurance, though necessary, probably not the most exciting thing to talk about, and I totally understand that. What I'm going to do is give you a quick summary of our products and the different coverages available to Pole Studios and instructors. I'll keep our discussion very simple and try to stay with layman's terms and not use a bunch of complicated insurance terminology. So let's start with Pole Studios. And I want to start with pole only studios. So no, it can be other forms of dance. Let's focus on the pole studios and other dance types that do not have aerial activities. Okay, so we'll start there. Our program is very easy to use and very easy to purchase online. I have links that I will also copy and paste into the chat at the end here. For an annual policy term for a pole studio, we start at about $475, and it goes up from there depending on how large the studio is, number of members, and if you're adding any optional coverages at the end. We've got a couple. So let me go over the three types of insurance that are available to a pole studio. Two of them are written together, and they're kind of our main coverages that all of the studios purchase. So the first one is group accident insurance, and that is going to provide medical bill payments to any participant who is injured. In our online program, that is up to $100,000 per claim. It is secondary, so it will be second to any primary health care insurance that a participant would have. If a participant does not have primary health care, then ours is primary. It becomes primary. So that's the first type of policy. The second type of policy that is available to a studio is your general liability. And that's going to protect you in the event of a negligence lawsuit filed against you or the studio for things like bodily injury or property damage to the facility that you are leasing on a short-term basis. And there are some other optional coverages that you can add on to that. Without getting into too much detail, there are things like hired non-owned auto, where if you are using a leased or rented vehicle to pick up students, bring them to the studio or to an event, if you have employees who use their own vehicle for company business, then you want to consider hired non-owned auto. There's abuse and molestation insurance that can be added. It's quite expensive. And then there is an optional medical expense payments portion of the liability. To keep things simple, I'll leave that as if. So we already have a medical policy in place for all the participants. If you have delivery personnel coming into your studio, other workers doing work in the studio, even passersby walking in front of, on your property, but down the sidewalk in front of your studio, slip and fall claims, those sort of things are picked up by a medical expense limit on the liability. It's very inexpensive to add that option. That's the one out of the three that I really recommend every studio to purchase. The liability is the one there where any leased space you're in, the landlord is going to, that's the policy your landlord mandates you carry. Many times they'll also require that you list the landlord as additional insured on your policy. We can do that. It's very easy to do as long as there's no special wording or special language endorsements. We add that for no fee, and we can add multiple different locations to your policy, usually for no additional fee. So that's very easy. Those are the two main coverages. The third one is optional, is another optional coverage, and I'll get into that one. That one is an equipment insurance or business personal property insurance policy. What that will cover are the items inside your studio, anything not permanently attached to your space, things like flooring, poles, sound systems, speakers, TVs, office furniture, anything, like I said, not permanently attached to the unit, that your policy will cover you for things like smoke, fire, theft, vandalism, wind while in transit, and things of that nature. So it is replacement cost value, meaning if your item is damaged, the insurance policy pays to completely replace that item brand new. So we value it on the replacement cost, what it would cost the insurance company to buy you a new damaged piece of equipment. That one is optional. I would say about 50% of the studios that I insure purchase that equipment insurance. It is part of our online application too. So you can't miss it. You actually have to decline the coverage on the application. So that is about it for studios. Let me switch over to actually one more thing on studios. I mentioned adding additional insureds like landlords to your policy. The other thing you can add is, and I get asked about this all the time, employees, W-2 employee instructors are covered under the liability automatically. No charge. You don't have to add them. You don't have to pay additional fee for them to be covered. When you hire an independent contractor instructor, those folks do need to be added to your policy, or you should require, as a studio owner, you should require those independent contractors to carry their own liability insurance, and then also name your studio as an additional insured on their liability policy. If you choose to add them to your studio policy, the cost is $75 per instructor, and we just need their full name, full first and last name, and their mailing address, and we can get them added. You can also add them online through the purchase link. So now we can move over to instructors, and through the instructor side, that is the same policy I just mentioned. If you have your instructors, your independent contractor instructors purchase their own insurance, we have that liability insurance available as well. That one's also offered online. Very simple, very easy. You can get coverage literally within 10 minutes, maybe even less if you're quick at filling out the application and paying online. Those policies are annual. They range anywhere from $115 to about $250 or so. And that depends on the limits of coverage you choose, the state you're located in, and then also certification. If you carry a certification, you qualify for a lower rate. It's about $100 difference, so it's a pretty good discount. There is a drop down, I believe, of certain programs or associations that we offer the discount through. There are many, I believe Expert is on there. There are quite a few pole organizations that are not specifically listed, but as long as you have a certificate showing a certified document showing that you're a certified instructor and the program was 200 hours or more in training, then you can just simply, that organization might not be listed on the application. You can select other and then upload your certificate, and you would still qualify for that lower certified instructor rate. It is general liability insurance. That's the one that covers you for negligence claims up to $1 million per claim. Negligence claims for bodily injury. So if you're instructing someone, the individual falls, gets injured, if they file a suit, your liability policy will protect you. It will also protect the studio that if we have them named as additional insured on the policy. The other policy that instructors could also carry is the equipment insurance. So if they have a pole, or we've been doing a lot of off-site events or off-site workshops that we've added to the policy, we can do that. We do need to list the location to be sure that the coverage applies. So if it's at a park, a lot of instructors have gone outdoors with COVID, and really easy to add the location. We just need the approximate address and the name of the location. So we can get those added right away. Again, we can list additional insureds on that policy as well. And let's see. So the last program, we'll talk about our studios with aerial exposures. And so we have a separate, our guidelines have kind of changed with aerial studios. So if you're pole and aerial, you would have to move over to our aerial program. It is no longer one that's able to be purchased online. The application's online. You would have to click it, fill out the application, and click submit. So then we get the application, it goes to our underwriters, we put a price on it and get back to you. So it's not one you can be done with in a couple of minutes. That's usually less than a day, less than 24-hour turnaround on getting the price to you for the aerial studios. We have some limitations there. Right now we're around 12 feet. We do have another program for studios that are over 12 feet. And when I say 12 feet, I mean the height that the aerial activity is allowed to, not rigging point, none of that. And then there are some additional questions on the application that you wouldn't find on our normal pole studio application. Those aerial studios, though, if it's one if you're under 12 feet, the pricing starts probably $595 for the year, not terribly higher expensive than the pole studios. Let me touch on COVID. That has been a popular subject, as you would imagine. So we have the insurance companies, by the way, contracting infection, whether it's bacterial or viral, is excluded on 99% of the liability policies in the United States. At this point, no carrier is even considering offering coverage for COVID or pandemic, just because there is so much unknown still about COVID-19. The only suggestions we have at this point, and kind of guidelines handed down from our carrier, is when returning to business, we recommend that you absolutely follow local, state, federal, CDC guidelines to reopening. The other recommendation we have is from our carrier also. They recommend that you do consult with an attorney and add COVID-19 language to your waiver. I did ask our carrier to provide kind of a blanket sample waiver language. They refused to do it just because the state or the country is reopening at such different rates all over the place. And so they were not comfortable with releasing a blanket statement for everyone. And that's why they want you to go with a local attorney who's familiar with your local and state laws and can recommend good language to add to a waiver. With COVID, many studios and instructors are offering coverage online. We can extend it. We're a bit limited. So we offer coverage for online instruction. We are unable to cover someone if they're injured in their home performing on their own training on their own pole. We have no controls in place for inspections of poles installed in homes. They're probably not professionally installed. They're probably not inspected. We have zero control. So if someone gets injured on a pole in their home, it's not like a studio where we monitor or we've asked the questions, and we also assume a pole studio owner has those poles, professionally installed and are inspected routinely and are just safe. So our limitation on online video instruction is that it would be ground-based instruction only. And then, so that's kind of the limitation on, we can offer the online. It just has that limitation of being ground-based. I've gotten a couple of questions as I'm talking. The first one, what about COVID? I just answered that, hopefully. And let's see, can people see if they so we touched on the COVID deal. Let me know if you have any more questions. Feel free to shoot up the questions. So that's about it on as far as coverages go and the ins and outs of the insurance. I'm going to also post some links on here. And excuse me, you'll have access to those links for instructors and studios and then the aerial. For instructors who only teach pole, but who teach at an aerial and pole studio, would we be able to do the pole studio insurance only? So instructors, great question. Instructors are not limited. So there's an actual aerial and pole genre on the application that you would select. Doesn't change the price. They don't have the limitation that a studio would have. So the instructor policy doesn't matter. Pole or aerial is covered. And so I think I've answered that one. Let's see. The amount of abuse and molestation coverage, ours is sublimited at $100,000 per claim. With our other market, I am pursuing them. I'm not sure. I will get back to you on what the limit is that we can offer. We're trying to get $1 million in abuse and molestation. The problem with abuse and molestation, as you'd imagine, it's been in the news a lot, and carriers are they're getting a bit worried and a bit concerned about offering abuse and molestation. So I'm searching for that, and I will certainly feel free to reach out to me and just check in, and I will give you an update on that. Okay. So yeah, $1 million is what we're after. I don't see any other new questions here. If you have any other questions, just throw them up. Let's see. In the meantime, let me copy these links into the chat room there. Excuse me. Just a second. Okay. This first one is for Pole only studios. Spell studios right. Okay. The next one will be instructors. Sorry, I should have had these on here before. Okay, there's the instructor link, and then we'll put the Aerial Studios program. Okay. So all of those links are there and available. My contact info is at the very top. I will stay on for a few minutes here. That's about all I have as far as the insurance goes. Hopefully I kept it simple and answered all of your questions. You can always contact me at my contact info that I pasted and gave to you verbally. It's at the very top of the discussions chat. And then you've got the 3 links on the chat room as well to the various programs. So you can copy and paste or just click on those links, and it should bring you directly to the pages to purchase insurance or even get a quote. On the first 2 programs, the Studios program and the Instructors program, the ones you can buy instantly, there is an option to save the quote, and that will save for 30 days, and it will be emailed to you after you complete the application. The other option is to proceed to payment options and purchase directly online right then and there. Again, with the Aerial program, that's now one you would click the link, fill out the application, and click submit. That application gets sent to our underwriters. We put a price together in a proposal. I would email it to you and then give you a call and kind of walk you through it. And then you have the option to purchase at that time. So a little different than how it used to be. We've added some controls into that program as well. So I'll stay on. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to add those or answer those. But for now, that is all I have for you. Thank you again so much for having me, and I wish you the best of luck with getting back to business. And feel free to contact me anytime. I got another question. Does the size of the studio matter, or only the height? As far as rates go, for the Aerial problem, we were working on a 17,000 square foot studio. So I was just curious. Square footage does not play as big a role as you might think. It is more about height. It's more about gross receipts or gross sales. And it's about the number of participants or members you have. Those three factors will weigh heavier on your insurance pricing than the size of the space. So, is there an instructor policy that covers only ground-based online teaching? Yeah. Our instructor policy would cover ground-based teaching, whether it's in person or online. That is definitely covered under the policy. So as far as locations, you'd probably just type in various on the application and indicate that you're offering online. There is a space on the application where it asks what type of instruction you're doing. And I think you would want to note that on the application if you're doing online instruction. So if you had already purchased insurance and you haven't added that, you can just send us a note and we can note your file that you're offering online instruction as well. And I think that is about it. So like I said, I'll stay here and answer questions. Feel free to move on to another program if there's one coming up that you wish to go to. But that is it. Thank you again so much for your time, and have a great rest of the weekend, guys and gals. You're welcome. Thank you.